morning, children, and welcome back to your chemistry class. Today, we shall begin with a new chapter, that is hydrocarbons. And in hydrocarbons, we had already done alkanes before. So today, I shall begin with alkenes, right? So these alkenes, they are those hydrocarbons which involve at least one double bond between the two carbon atoms, right? That is, between the two carbon atoms we see one double bond, right? So the alkenes are identified by the presence of this double bond between the two carbon atoms. Like for example, ethene. So how do we write down ethene? C double bond C is there and H. This is called as ethene, isn't it? Similarly, you have propene, C double bond C and propene. If I say, then this becomes H. 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4. This is what? This is called as your propene. Similarly, you have butene and so on. Clear? Then older name given to these alkenes is also olefins, if you remember, right? And this also means oil former. The term olefins for alkenes was selected because of the lower members from the oily liquids with halogens and the halogen acids. So now these alkenes, they are also unsaturated hydrocarbons. Why are they unsaturated hydrocarbons? Because the molecule of alkene contains a double bond involving a sigma bond and a pi bond. Clear? That is, the tetravalency of each carbon atom is satisfied not only by a single covalent bond in the alkenes, but it has a double bond. That is, the tetravalency of each carbon atom is satisfied by 3 sigma bonds and a pi bond in an example of ethene, right? That is C2H4. I hope this is clear. Now, to show you the structure or the formation of ethene, let us observe this. You can observe it here. They are, just now I'll show it to you. Let me just draw first. Right? Then we have hydrogen here. Now this is PZ. This is PZ orbital. Okay. This is sp2 hybridization. This also shows sp2 hybridization. Here let's see. This shows PZ orbital. This is also your PZ orbital. And here this shows sp2 hybridization, sp2 hybridization, right? Now let us look at this. Here you will see one s orbital of hydrogen atom, right? Here what are you going to see? The carbon and the hydrogen atom with a sigma bond over here. Then look at this bond. Look at the bond formations. We have this pi bonds over here, okay, and this was the bond that I was talking about. They also show sp2 hybridization, and this bond is your sigma bond. Clear? So this is actually the overlap of the orbitals in the formation of ethene. Now if I want to draw it in a very simple form, I can show it to you over here and explain it to you. Let me draw it over here. Carbon, double bond, carbon, hydrogen, hydrogen. Let us now over here talk about the bond length and the bond angle also. Right? So in this molecule of ethene, we will find that your hydrogen carbon hydrogen bond angle. Hydrogen carbon hydrogen bond angle is of how much? 120 degree. Okay? Hydrogen carbon hydrogen. Right? Now let's look at carbon double bond carbon. Over here the bond length is 134 picometer, right? And the bond length of carbon and hydrogen, it is how much? 108 picometer. Clear? So this is all of this was the overlap orbital in the formation of ethene, and here I have shown you the bond angles and the bond lengths of the ethene molecule. I hope this is clear to all of you. Now let us talk about the hybridization of carbon atoms in propene. Let's look for propene. Now I'm not going to draw this figure. I'll show it to you like this. Carbon, double bond, carbon, hydrogen. We have one hydrogen will be here. Right. So here you are going to see sp2 hybridization. Here also it is sp2 hybridization, and here it will be sp3 hybridization. 1, 2, 3. No. 1, 2, 3, 4. And here you are going to see sp3 hybridization. Right? And how many carbon atoms? 1, 2, and 3. So what did we see over here? Carbon 1, carbon 2, carbon 3. So carbon 1 and carbon 2, they are sp2 hybridized. Carbon 3 is sp3 hybridized. And the sigma bond will be formed between carbon 1 and carbon 2. Right? And when sp2 hybridized, orbitals of these carbon atoms, they overlap. The sigma bond between carbon 2 and carbon 3 is formed by the overlap of one sp3 hybrid orbital of carbon atom 2 and one sp3 hybrid orbital of carbon number 3. So I hope you have understood the hybridization also of some of the members of alkenes, like this one was your propene I had talked about, and this was your ethene. I hope this point is clear. Okay, so what we need to remember, certain characteristics of alkenes that we need to remember, that is the double bond. It always comprises of one sigma bond and one pi bond, right? And the sigma bond is always symmetrical, but the pi bond is always unsymmetrical about the axis which passes through the center of the two carbon atoms, right? Then this double bond, the pi bond is always weaker than your sigma bond, but the double bond as a whole is stronger than your, but the double bond, by double bond what do I mean? By double bond I mean your sigma bond, your pi bond, your sigma bond and the pi bond together, right? This is stronger than only your sigma bond. So what did I say? That the pi bond is weaker than the sigma bond. Pi bond is weaker than your sigma bond, but double bond is always stronger than your sigma bond. Clear? Then carbon to carbon double bond is shorter. It is always shorter than carbon to carbon single bond, right? This is shorter than the single bond. Thus, the electron density between the carbon atoms of the double bond two carbon atoms is always high, and the molecule with respect to this bond is more reactive, right? Then the presence of this pi bond in the alkene, it restricts the rotation of one carbon atom with respect to the other carbon atom that I had already explained you. Now let us talk about the general formula that is given to alkenes. The general formula is general formula of alkenes is what? CnH2n, and the first member of the homologous series is your ethene. Okay, there is no such element which is called as methene. The series itself, the first member is ethene, right? Then we talk about the nomenclature of these alkenes. So what is the name according to IUPAC given to them? We have to write down ene, right? This is the word that we have to use for the double bond. So the number of carbon atoms in the longest continuous chain continuing the double bond is counted, right? And the alkene is being named by the prefix and the suffix system. I hope that all you already know about it. Further, we are now going to talk about isomerism in alkenes. Now let us understand isomerism. So alkenes, they show structural as well as stereoisomerism, right? They show chain position and ring chain isomerism, and these all exhibit geometrical isomerism. So let us understand this kind of isomerism in alkenes. So the presence of this double bond in alkene, it increases the possibility of isomerism, right? Like in addition to, as I said, chain isomerism, we are also going to see the position isomerism, while the alkanes, they only exhibit which isomerism? Only the chain isomerism. But here in alkenes, we are going to study about different types of alkenes. So first thing that you need to remember is that the first two members of the alkene family, they do not exhibit isomerism. So I write down over here, first two members do not exhibit isomerism. Clear? Why is it so? Because the carbon atoms in these molecules, they can be arranged only and only in one distinct way, right? They cannot be shown in different forms. So we do not see this. So your structural isomers are shown from which number? From the third member, that is C4H8 member. This shows three structural isomers. What are they? Let us see. If I take up this structure, then let me draw the isomers of this particular compound. So it can be CH3, CH2, CH double bond CH2. So this is how much? 1, 2, 3, 4. C4, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. C4H8. So this is, how are you going to name it? It is your but1ene. This is your first isomer. Now let us see another one. I'll draw it this side. CH3, CH double bond, CH, CH3. So what about this? Now we have 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4 carbon atoms, 8 hydrogen atoms. Name this. This is your but2ene. Okay. Then let me draw another one. Could be like CH3, C double bond, CH2. And if I write CH3 here, now look at this. 1, 2, 3 and 1, 4. 4 carbon atoms and 8 hydrogen atoms, right? What do we name this? This is your 1, 2. So this is 2-methyl-propene. So what did we see? The third member onwards we can observe isomerism in alkenes. I hope this point is very clear. These isomers, the structure 1 and 2, do they show position isomer also? Over here, see, the position of double bond is 1 and over here the position of double bond is 2. So we can see position isomerism also. Now look at structure 1 and structure 3. There are chain isomers. Here it has formed a chain because they differ in the arrangement of the carbon atoms in the form of a chain. So what did we study? That they can show us the position isomerism as well as the chain isomerism. So this point is clear. Now let me discuss with you about stereoisomerism, where I will be explaining you the geometrical isomerism in alkenes. Geometrical isomerism, right? So it is a type of stereoisomerism. Clear? So the geometrical isomerism, we can say they are also called as cis-trans isomerism. So this geometrical isomerism, it is observed only in those molecules which contain carbon-carbon double bond, and thus a free rotation about the double bond is prohibited, right? So the two isomers, they are called as cis and trans isomers, right? Now let us understand what are cis isomers and what are trans isomers. So a geometrical isomer, it is called as a cis isomer when the similar groups are on the same side of the double bond. I'll write over here cis isomer. What did I say? Geometrical isomer formed when the similar groups are on the same side of the double bond. Okay, so it could be like C double bond C, and these are the substituents, then A, B, B. What did I say? It is formed when the similar groups, they are on the either side of the double bond. Either side of the double bond, similar groups on either side of the double bond. Then they are termed as cis isomers, right? And when do we say that they are trans isomers? Trans isomer when similar groups are present on the opposite sides of the double bond. Okay, then we say that they form trans isomers. For example, it is like C double bond C, this. Okay, then what did I say? Similar groups are present on the opposite sides of the double bond. So if this is B, then opposite side is B. They are similar. If this is A, then this should be A, right? And we always should remember that A should never be equal to B. That means the two substituents, they should not be same. A should not be equal to B, right? So from studying this, what have we understood? What are the conditions that are necessary? Okay, before that, let me give you one example of cis and trans isomers. Like for example, if I want to form butene, so I'm going to show you the cis and the trans form of butene. So example, I'm writing it down over here. Like if I form a cis, so how am I going to form this isomer? H, this should be same, H, okay, and this should be same. So this is CH3, this is CH3. So what did we see over here? This is called as cis isomer of butene, butene, and this is your cis isomer. Is this clear? Because what do we see? Similar groups on the same side of the double bond. Now let me show you the trans isomer of butene. So I'm going to draw it this side. C double bond C. Clear? And what have we to do? The similar groups have to be written opposite sides. So let me write down CH3, CH3, H and H. So this is what? Butene trans isomer. I hope this is very clear to you. Cis and trans isomers are clear. Now, what are the conditions that is important for geometrical isomerism? Now you have understood. Firstly, there must be a carbon-carbon double bond present. Then each carbon atom of the double bond must be bonded by two different substituents. That should be A and B, and A should never be equal to B. This is another part, right? And a molecule which involves the carbon-carbon double bond will not exhibit geometrical isomerism if any one or both the carbon atoms of the double bond, they have same substituent. For example, let me give you an exception. Over here, I'll write down the exception. Let us look at these two examples that I would like to quote you over here. Like, look at this particular compound. What is this called as? This is ethene. Now look over here. The substituent is the same. That means A is equal to B. So this compound is not going to exhibit your geometrical isomerism. I hope this is very clear to you. Okay. Now let me give you another example. Over here only, if I write CH3 and this becomes CH3, this is also CH3. Now, do you think this is going to show you cis or trans isomerism? No, because if you see over here, this neither follows AABB, isn't it? And neither does it follow BBAA, right? So, in any case, this particular compound, which you name it as 2-methyl-butene. What is the name of this? 2-methyl-butene also cannot show geometrical isomerism. I hope this point is very clear to everybody. Okay.